Hello folks, and welcome to another video blog for Don't Cry Wolf. As always, I'd love to have your feedback and your comments, so please do leave your comments below. If you do like this video, please do feel free to give it a thumbs up. And if the hot weather's not for you, then by all means, give this a thumbs down. So this week has been an interesting one for anyone who follows trends in social media or wants to understand a bit more about how businesses are interacting with people on Twitter, Facebook, social channels. Wetherspoons has called time on social media. The head of Wetherspoons has gone ahead and said that they don't believe that they need a social presence in order to run a successful business, and that they are going ahead and shutting down all of their social channels, of which there are about 2.5 million of them. A big, bold, brave move in this digital, socially orientated world? No. Social for Spoons was a complete nightmare. It had that typical big brand approach to social media, and bad social media, stuff that was done about 5-6 years ago, where big businesses would just allow their social accounts to get out of control, allow anybody with the faintest idea of what they're doing on digital to start setting up different social media channels, and it just sprawled out of control. So it seems that anyone who's ever managed the Wetherspoons at any time in their life were able to set up a Facebook page or a Twitter handle or even Snapchat pages. That's a snap that I probably won't want to receive. Unfortunately, what they forgot to do was actually engage with anyone. So if you quickly audit any one of the 47 million social accounts that are out there for Wetherspoons, what you'll find are a bunch of angry customers complaining about the crap service in Wetherspoons. So what you're left with is a bunch of 1-star ratings where people are complaining about the fact that black pudding's no longer included on the big breakfast menu. So we have to look past and forget the altruistic, nauseating sentiment that came out and was farted across the press release when Spoons announced this move. Apparently they've done this in the spirit of trying to defend against the addiction that social media brings. If Spoons really wanted to combat addiction, perhaps they should show up at 8 AM when there's people queuing outside the door to get their first 3 pints in before they go to work. Shutting down their social media channels is not a bold move for the betterment of the planet. However, it is a sound business decision. So as a business, how do you practically look at social media and decide whether it's something that you should be a part of, whether it's something you should withdraw from, whether it's something that you should even be managing at all? So here's 4 things that I think you should look at. Okay, the first thing is a pretty obvious one. Are your audience actually there? Spoons can be quite comfortable in the knowledge that most of its audience couldn't give a rat's ass about Twitter, probably aren't really bothered about speaking to Spoons on Facebook either. If you're an online first brand, then probably a well-maintained social channel of some description is a useful asset to have, and probably an expected one now. But if you're the UK's number 3 supplier of ergonomic mouse mats and sit somewhere along the abyss of the supply chain, then you can probably get away with not being on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram or Pinterest, or for that matter Facebook. Okay, so the second point is to start small. There is a tendency for businesses, small and large, to go all in on social. They set up Instagram accounts, they're on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Pinterest, and they can't manage any of them. If you want to work well in social, start with 1, maybe 2 platforms at most. Get that absolutely spot on, build a community, and then see whether you can take that experience and apply that somewhere else. So the third tip is something that Wetherspoons absolutely should have done, and it's blindingly obvious that they didn't do, and that is set some rules. The minute you're on social media, the minute your brand sets stuff up on social media, you should have a social media policy somewhere within your brand architecture. There needs to be some sort of barriers to entry to opening up new channels, so that will stop Jeff from accounts payable in your Woking branch opening up your latest Twitter account, but also have some policies in place. What's your tone of voice? How should you come across? What are the do's and don'ts for your brand? Once you have those, you can start empowering people, and they should be empowered to manage the channels as they see fit. But without rules, what you'll have is this sprawling mess, which you'll need to peel back later on. Okay, so the final thing is around consolidation, and actually consolidation is fine. I've done a number of research projects where I've gone out to have a look at how a brand is being articulated across social media channels, and what I discover is that some brands have hundreds of different channels that they had no idea was set up on behalf of their brand. The next awkward conversation we tend to have is around, well, we should be shutting these down, and there's always this fear that people are going to be upset that you shut down the channel. No one is going to give a shit. Get rid of what you don't need, get rid of the heavyweight of social media, consolidate into a handful of channels that you can manage easily, and put the right team in place to manage them effectively. So one final thought that I just wanted to share is that comms in general is trying to do one thing, and that is mimic a one-to-one interaction, a one-to-one human experience. It's a great litmus test when looking at any sort of platform, at any sort of channel, to sit back and think, can I more effectively engage on a one-to-one basis with my customers or with my audience by doing something else? If I can, then go and do that and don't do the other thing. So what do you think? Do you think Spoons was right to do what it's done? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please do leave your comments below, and thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.